1. All right. Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome. Welcome to another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. All right. My name is Otis Landerholm, and I am the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. And thank you for tuning in here to another of our episodes of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Thank you so much. The date that I'm recording this is the 20th of June of 2024. We're live right now on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and I'm really grateful to each of you for being here with me. Again, my name is Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. And today, our topic of the Empowered Immigrant Live, we're talking about Biden's parole program for the spouses of U.S. citizens. All right? And so this was announced. This is a program. It's brand new. And so I want to clarify it, and I want to discuss it. And while I'm discussing it, if you have any questions, if you have any, if this might apply for you, feel free to ask any questions that you have. Okay? So welcome again to another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Remember, the Empowered Immigrant Live is here to train, teach, inspire, and empower immigrants to make the most out of immigration law and to make the most out of their lives. All right? So today our theme is the Biden parole program for the spouses of United States citizens. And my question for you is, hey, do you want to get a green card this year? Do you want to at least see what your options are for immigration status this year? Do you want to, potentially apply for citizenship this year? Is this year your year? Because if so, go for it. My firm is on a mission to win 10,000 immigration cases in the next 10 years, and we would love it if your case were one of those cases. All right? We would love to win your case. So welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Again, we're talking today about the Biden parole program for U.S. citizens, and we are live. If you've got a question, send it over. I'd love to do my best to answer it right here, right now, live. Okay? So, parole in place. This program that was announced just 2 days ago, all right, this program creates a parole in place if, as of June 17th of 2024, all right, you are married to a United States citizen, if you have 10 years of continuous physical presence in the United States, if you were not lawfully admitted, inspected, or paroled into the United States, if you are not a threat to national security, public safety, and you don't have disqualifying criminal history, and if you merit a favorable exercise of discretion. Those are the 5 requirements. Should I go through them again? All right, should I go through them again? You got them? All right, again, this announcement says that the Biden administration is going to grant parole. We can talk about what that is. Parole if, as of June 17th, 2024, you, 1, were married to a U.S. citizen. 2, you have 10 years of continuous physical presence in the United States. All right, let's talk about that. June 17th, 2014 to June 17th, 2024. Those are 10 years. All right, those are the 10 years that need to be proven. 3, if you were not lawfully admitted, inspected and admitted, or paroled into the United States. The idea there is if you were inspected and admitted, you don't even need this parole in theory. You can already apply for adjustment of status. And so they're not going to approve this parole process if you entered on a visa. Okay? 4, you can't be a threat to national security, public safety, or have disqualifying criminal history. Now that term, disqualifying criminal history, has not been defined anywhere yet, right? So if you have a DUI, if you have, certain arrests on your record, you might be eligible still. We've got to wait and see. The regulations are not out yet. We don't know how this is going to be evaluated yet. And lastly, you have to merit a favorable exercise of discretion. Got it? All right. Those are the requirements. So I hope that's useful. So who does this help? All right. Well, it helps people who are eligible for it. It helps spouses of U.S. citizens who are eligible. And the government estimates that there's about 500,000 people that are in that category. And it also helps their children. All right, so if there's a child of one of those people, and if the child is unmarried and under 21, then they can be included as well. There's about 50,000 people that are in that situation. Okay? So first you go through this process and you apply for parole and you win parole. And then what? All right? Well, the way it works is first you apply for the parole and you win it. All right, because it only benefits you if you're approved. And then after that, all right, after that, in theory, you'll be eligible to use that parole to apply for adjustment of status, to apply for your green card, okay, without leaving the U.S. Now, that's the benefit, right? That's the benefit. You don't need to file an I-601A waiver and then leave the U.S. That fact, right, if this actually goes through and if this actually works, that fact will save a ton of cost and approximately 4 years of a delay in your case. Like, that's great news for those who qualify for this. Again, if it actually is implemented, which we'll talk about challenges to implementing this, just because it was announced by the administration doesn't mean it's actually going to come to fruition here. All right? There's two huge hurdles that we got to cross over before it can actually be implemented or before it can actually have meaning. All right? So, like, note, right? If you don't qualify because you don't have the 10 years or because you weren't lawfully married as of June 17th, 2024, like, imagine, hey, lawyer, right? I've been with my we basically lived together as spouses, but we weren't legally married yet. But hey, we're going next week. I proposed. We're going next week to the courthouse. We're going to get legally married. Great, but unfortunately, you won't qualify for this. What you'll have to do is you'll have to go through the standard waiver process, all right, which is a bummer for those people. There's a lot of people in that situation, but that's what this parole program says, okay? In addition to the parole stuff, of course, to be able to win a green card, you have to show you have a legal and bona fide relationship with your spouse. You can't just have married for immigration purposes, all right? And two, you have to be quote-unquote admissible, of course, to get a green card, or eligible for a waiver of inadmissibility, which, talk to your lawyer. If you don't have one, feel free to give us a call. We can do that assessment. But basically, do you have any arrests? If you do, let's look at them carefully, right? Have you ever committed any fraud? Have you ever used, possessed, cultivated, sold, had anything to do with any illegal drug, narcotic, including marijuana, right? Have you ever lied to immigration for any reason? Lots of things can trigger what we call inadmissibility. Some of those are waivable, and so sometimes you'd have to apply for a waiver. All right, so we're clear. So then what's the process? How do I get me this parole? All right, it's a trick question, ladies and gentlemen. It's a trick question. Right now, there is no process. All right, so if you've got a lawyer who's saying, hey, sign up today for this parole process, they're lying. Either they're lying intentionally or they don't know what they're doing. All right, there is no process right now. If you've got a notario saying, hey, sign up right here, give me your money. All right, give me your money and let's file for parole. No, they're lying to you. All right, don't buy that. Don't fall for that. That is called fraud. Okay, right now, as of this date, I'm recording this on the 20th of June, 2024. Right now, there is no process. All right, even if we had all the evidence and sent it to the government, we don't know where to send it yet. They haven't told us where to send these or what the filing fee is or whatever. They're saying, the government is saying that by the end of this summer, they'll explain how to apply, what the filing fees are, where to submit it, what the evidence that's required is, etc. All right? Right now, we can't apply for it, so don't fall for that. Don't apply for it right now. It's just something to keep your eye on the prize, keep monitoring it, keep being informed, keep tuning in to live sessions with lawyers that actually know what they're doing, right? I think I am that. And if my firm, just stay in communication so that we can help you. Okay? So, and there's some serious challenges and problems that we've got to anticipate about this. All right? Which I know, right? Problem number one is this could very likely face legal challenges in court. Just like DACA, just like other programs that have been tried in the past, they face challenges in federal courts. And this could very well, be an announcement, that goes nowhere. It could be that. All right? It's like this could just be a cute announcement for political purposes in an election year, and it could actually go nowhere. So you got to be aware of that, all right? And the second thing, talking of politics, that's a huge problem to have on our radar, is that the November election could completely undo this. All right, so even if it's not challenged, even if we've got a new process, even if everybody, 500,000 people now apply for this parole benefit, if one of the candidates wins in November and then enters the White House in January, goodbye to this program. He's going to undo it, right? If we believe the political statements that have been made, at least, right? So you got to know. Those are problems. That's the kind of weakness that this program has, So anyway, there's lots of questions, and if you've got questions, send them in. That's good. So what if you're eligible, but you have some other type of case pending? Right? I've got over 1,000 clients, or my firm does right now, and we get that question a lot. Hey, I'm filing for asylum. Hey, I'm filing for a U visa. Hey, I'm filing for a marriage-based consular processing case, and now I'm eligible, or I very well might be eligible for this program if it passes. What do I do? Right? Well, yeah, good question. If and when the regulations actually comes out, and if this thing actually moves forward, then you're going to want to discuss it carefully. Strategy, right? You're going to want to discuss the strategy carefully with your lawyer, all right? And you want a lawyer who knows what they're doing. And you'll want to think about, okay, maybe we use this new process, if you're eligible for it, maybe we use it as your plan A. Like, this is a good process if you're eligible for it, all right? And if you've got a different process going, maybe we keep it going as your plan B, just in case this whole parole thing falls flat or gets challenged in court. Make sense? Keep your options open. Keep your plan B alive, all right, to maximize your chances of success long term. That's thinking it through. Now, what if you're in immigration court? Abogado, lawyer, what if I'm in immigration court? Well, depending on your situation, it might be more difficult then to win this parole document. You want to work with a lawyer who's good in court, right? You might need to get your case terminated. You might need to win the parole, show as much evidence as possible in favor of your parole application, and once it's approved, maybe terminate your court case. So then you can apply for adjustment of status in front of USCIS and not in the immigration court. That's often the right strategy, but everybody's case is different, right? If you've got something else in immigration court, maybe you're eligible for cancellation of removal. Maybe you want to keep your case in court, file your adjustment of status in court with cancellation as the alternative, or if you've got a strong asylum claim, same thing, right? Fight that asylum claim so you don't lose it. Keep your plan B alive. Those are strategies. And you want to make those strategies with lawyers who understand your situation, all right? And with lawyers who can really guide you. Okay, so I get this one a lot too. What if my spouse, lawyer, what if my spouse and I are already in the middle of a process? Okay, well, that's a good question. Great. You might want to switch strategy and you might not. Once these regulations, once the regs come out, once the regulations come out, let's meet, let's talk it through, let's really think about it. Okay? So what if you're just not eligible? Look, one of the tragedies of this is like, hey, Biden, wake up. Hey, politicians, congressmen, wake up. A solution for 500,000 people is cute. All right, it's cute. Thank you. All right. But newsflash, everybody, there's 11 million people, 11 million people who are undocumented and don't have options in the United States. All right? That means that there is over 10 million people who are simply not eligible for this program. Okay? So great, we're offering a benefit that'll help a sliver of people that need to be helped. And we're leaving 10 million of our neighbors and friends and citizens just like, it's like, I'm sorry, I think we can do better. As a society, I think we can do better. Immigrants are awesome for our society. Is our society awesome for immigrants? That's a good question. It's like we ought to be. And that's a conversation that we need to take to Washington, D.C. It's not really necessarily a conversation to take with the president, although that's important. It's a conversation that needs to be taken with Congress, because it's Congress that has the power to actually pass a law. All right? Congress has the power to pass laws. The president is really there to sign or veto. Right? But the president faces their own political pressure too. If Congress really had their act together, we'd fix the immigration system. But Congress doesn't have the act together. The reason it is that they've got to agree. They've got to agree to pass a law. Not one congressperson can do it. They've got to have, as a group, agree. And Congress right now just disagrees about everything. And it's very frustrating. All right? As an immigration lawyer, it's really frustrating. But that's what needs to happen, all right? And so what do you do if you're one of the 10 million people that can't qualify for this parole benefit? Okay, well, my heart goes out to you, and consult with a lawyer. Discuss other options. U visas, asylum, family-based options, waiver cases, court-based options, cancellation of removal. Whatever it is, talk with a lawyer about your options so that you can get good advice. Okay? All right. And so, what can we really do right now? Well, again, this program is not live right now. I mean, how can I say that? Our live session right now is live, if you're watching it as I'm talking. But the program that the government has announced is not live. All right? They are not accepting applications right now. You can't submit. You can't apply for this benefit right now. If you send something, they'll reject it. There's no process to apply for it yet. All right? And so you can't apply for it yet. So what's the best advice right now? Well, the best advice right now is let's get clear about what your situation is. If, in fact, you are eligible, and if, in fact, this would benefit you, well, let's start gathering your evidence. You got to start gathering your evidence of 10 years of physical presence in the United States. That's like 10 years of paying taxes, 10 years of work, pay stubs from your job, if you have those, 10 years of a bank account history or credit card history or whatever. We got to show that you've been physically present in the United States from June 17th of 2014 through June 17th of 2024. Okay? And all the other requirements. You got to get your marriage certificate to show that you were married before June 17th. You've got to get evidence that you merit a favorable exercise of discretion and that you're not a threat to public security or national security or public safety, etc. Okay? If you've ever been arrested before, you got to get all those records. So that's one thing. And whether you're eligible for this or not, the other thing is it's a good idea to request and receive and review all of the records that immigration has on your case. All right? This is called a FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act request, which gives everyone, U.S. citizens, non-citizens, doesn't matter, everybody has the right to request information that the federal government has in their database about you. All right? And this is something our office does all the time, every day. We run FOIAs for our clients to really assess what the government has on their case so that we can make sure that we know their situation. We can see whether or not they're going to be eligible. Okay? That's basically it. All right, so what questions are out there? What questions are out there? I got one here on Instagram. Aries? I don't know, did I say that right? What if you meet all the requirements for this new parole in place, and you've been here since 1999, but you only have taxes from 2017 to present? Since before that, it was just cash. I did have a deportation case from 1999, but I don't now. All right, it was closed in 2023 after a reopening. Well, that's cool. Arias, thank you for asking that question. That's a great question. Okay, and so what I would say there is let's request all of your records, because that's a good thing to do. But the fact that you haven't paid taxes, there should be other evidence out there. All right? If you don't have taxes as your evidence of 10 years of physical presence, have something else. Have you had kids in the last 10 years? Have you had a bank account? Have you had a phone bill? Have you, ever been hospitalized? Let's request all those records. Okay, so not paying taxes isn't the question. All right, although taxes can help demonstrate the physical presence, but if you don't have them, it's not a deal breaker. All right, it's not a deal breaker. The question is, what other evidence could we get, could we find, could we use to demonstrate that you've been here all this time? Maybe you have a child who's been in school, and maybe on their school records, your name is listed as their parent. Well, that's evidence. All right, that's evidence of something. And so, anyway, so I hope that's useful. I hope that's helpful. Christopher Carvajal, I see you here. Thank you for being here. You say, buenas tardes. Tengo I-130 aprobada, 2 detenciones en la frontera, y me dieron salida voluntaria, califico para el parole. Okay, well, that's a good question. So in English, that says, I've got an I-130 approved. I was detained twice at the border, and they gave me salida voluntaria, which is voluntary return. Can I qualify for the parole? Well, that's a good question. Christopher, thank you so much for asking that question. The thing to know is that maybe, if you're married to a U.S. citizen, if you have 10 years in the United States, you might qualify for this parole. The question becomes whether or not you'll be able to use the parole. Remember, there's lots of questions out there about, if I've got a permanent bar, can I utilize this parole? Well, again, we haven't seen all the regulations out about it. It hasn't been formally passed yet. But even if you could get the parole, you can't get a green card. That's what you got to understand. If you have a false claim to citizenship or a permanent inadmissibility or any other of the inadmissibility grounds that are not waivable, then unfortunately this parole process can't waive that. It can't fix that. It can't. You still have to be admissible to get a green card. The parole process, you might be eligible for parole and a work permit, right? 3-year work permit is what they're promising. But you would still have to be admissible in order to get a green card. So anyway, Christopher, to answer your question, we should run all your FOIAs and see and really look at how much unlawful presence you had before those entries, because, you know, being detained twice at the border doesn't necessarily mean that you have a permanent bar. You got to do the math. How many days of unlawful presence did you have before you left the U.S. and then re-entered? Because in order to trigger a permanent bar, you have to have had 365 days of unlawful presence and then left and then entered again unlawfully. All right? Or you have to have a deportation order and left and re-entered unlawfully, or even an expedited removal order at the border. So those are the things that you got to know. Okay? So anyway, I hope this is useful. I hope this is helpful. You know, anyway, politics. For me, it's like, I wish there were a better solution out there than this. I think that this is I'm glad, I'm happy. For those who are eligible, I mean, we'll see if it even gets off the ground, though, right? It could be challenged in court. As I mentioned, it probably will be. All right? And we gotta play politics. So if you're a U.S. citizen listening to this, or if you know a U.S. citizen who's going to be participating in the election this fall, it's like your vote matters, everybody. Your vote matters this fall. All right? For immigration, for immigrants, for the benefit of our world and our society, your vote matters. You got to know it. All right? Okay. So Bella, I see yours. Okay, hello. I have wit. I am with someone. No, wait. I'm passport 2001, married, I-130 is approved. Can I apply for parole? I don't know your full question, Bella. I wish I understood it. You're married. My reading of what your question is that you're married, you've got an I-130 approved, and you entered with a passport in 2001. Is that what I'm hearing? I mean, if that's your situation, then no, you can't. If you entered with a visa, with a passport in 2001, if you entered lawfully, then they won't approve this parole, okay? But if you entered lawfully with a visa or with a passport, all right, then you don't need this parole. If you're married to a U.S. citizen, you can apply for adjustment of status unless you're inadmissible. And so, you know, if you've got questions about that, Bella, let's talk it through. Feel free to talk it through. Give us a call. We can do a consultation. We'd love to talk it through. Okay? I think that I've gotten a bunch of questions here on TikTok. Let's see. Shoot, am I doing this right? Everybody on TikTok, can you guys still see me? I am just learning how to manage the live stream on TikTok, and I hope I didn't just kill it there. I see you all. Hey, Jonathan, I see you there. Does VAWA eliminate the 10-year bar or the permanent bar? Those are two different questions, Jonathan. Thank you for asking that. Does VAWA eliminate the permanent bar? There's a rare circumstance when it can, all right, if the exit and reentry were tied to the abuse that you were suffering. Remember, VAWA stands for the Violence Against Women Act. It applies for men and women equally, all right? But you got to show that you were the victim of abuse, all right, or extreme cruelty inside of your familial relationship with your spouse, parent, or child, okay? And so if your exiting and reentry was tied to that abuse, then yes, VAWA can fix a permanent bar. And VAWA can do interesting things too. So you can apply for VAWA deferred action without applying for a VAWA-based green card. And you can do that when you, for example, have an inadmissibility issue. So VAWA can be an option for folks. I want to see, were there other comments? I think there were. There's a lot of likes. Thanks to everybody for the likes and stuff here on TikTok. I've seen countless attorneys that don't know the law. Yeah, that's true. Hello, I've made an appointment with you for this week. Hey, that's awesome. Thank you. Jenny, Anna, Terry, Layola. Hey, everybody on YouTube, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. You guys are active. I love it. I love it. Everybody on Instagram, I see you guys here too. Jesus, Orlando, Whistleblower, Aries, Bolarasha, and more. Thank you all so much for being here on Instagram. Everybody on TikTok, thank you so much. Everybody on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, thank you all so much for being here. My name's Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. I love immigrants. You know, immigrants make our country better. All right? Immigrants make the world better. And in my opinion, immigrants are awesome. That's why I'm an immigration lawyer. That's why I believe in immigration law. I love winning complex immigration cases for our clients. If you want help with your immigration case, hey, please give us a call. We are here to help. We would love to help. And that's all I got for today. Thank you all so much for being here. Make it a great day. All right? Make it a great day. And I'll leave it there. And we'll see you next time on our next episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye. Let's see here. Swipe left to close on TikTok. I'm so like, let's see, how do I do this? Okay, let me turn this off.